Nothing is a reserve asset like Bitcoin. Literally nothing, not even gold. It is truly extraordinary, and it's so innovative, we have no idea where it's going. And when we talk about Bitcoin, we can also look at the other parts of the digital asset ecosystem. That is not going away. The genie is out of the bottle. Ethereum is not going away. Digital assets, tokenization, it's all coming. And it's all going to slot in to these new digital currencies brought by the central banks. So payment systems and rails and everything are going to change massively. Everything we understand, it's going to be as big a revolution of money that the internet was for everything from email to video to shopping to everything to commerce. It just changed the world we live in. That's the size of what this is. And this central bank digital currency is part of that narrative. And it is positive, I think, if you own Bitcoin. It is positive, I think, if you own gold. I think gold has that place for those concerned about the future of Bitcoin. But I will take that risk in Bitcoin. I will say, I think it goes a lot higher before I have to worry about that. And I do think Bitcoin is the cockroach that can't be killed. I think it is something too powerful for even governments to overcome. And I think it is our life raft and our way out. I've been tracking the price of gold against 27 world currencies, and gold does its job extremely well. As more and more money gets printed, the more gold goes up relative to those currencies, and Bitcoin even more so. So we've got this enormous debasement coming. They've made it clear. It's one way out of the debt. Debase your currency, inflate your way out. Whether you create structural inflation or monetary debasement, they're different things, and I'm not going to debate all of the nuances of the inflations. I don't think it's the cost of goods inflation you're going to see. I think technology, demographics, and debt destroys a lot of that. But I do think it's going to create some big structural issues. So there's no avoidance of this for us outside of thinking about something like Bitcoin. Bitcoin and gold offer us a life raft, a way out of this particular conundrum, where every transaction is monitored, where we can be taxed immediately and we have no freedoms. I'm more worried about the debasement of my savings. We all work hard for our money, and we don't want to get screwed by the system, and everybody has a feeling we're getting screwed somewhere, whether it's negative interest rates or zero interest rates on our savings, or being forced into the most expensive equities of all time because there's nothing else to buy and our pension funds are doing it right when people are trying to retire. All the craziness of the world right now, it just feels wrong. And it feels like there is going to be political change and there's going to be massive structural change. So Bitcoin is my answer to that. I own gold and I own a lot more Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin works on a number of levels, and I'm not going to go into it now because there's plenty of pieces from me on why I think Bitcoin is a reserve asset, and probably the world's most pristine reserve asset. It's the only hard asset that has a fixed supply that eventually runs out, and demand is increasing. And as the world is turning towards Bitcoin and its price goes up, its market cap is only 200 billion. It's noise right now. It's like a mid-cap S&P stock. But I think it's going to overtake gold in size. Gold is about 10 or 11 trillion. I think Bitcoin goes much bigger than that over time too. But that's where it's headed, because for this modern digital world, it is the payment system that we all want. But it's also, more importantly, it's the store of value we need. So the central banks are going to compete at payments level. So that's probably the end of stablecoins. And I think the central banks will force those out of the system. But Bitcoin, as a pristine reserve asset, is something different. It's like collateral for a new system, and I think other governments will begin to adopt it. First, it won't be the big governments, but some nation will be sick and tired of currency crisis and will just adopt Bitcoin as its currency. They'll probably first start putting it into their central bank reserves because it's a harder currency, and a game theory plays out. Many people suggest to me, well, the governments are going to ban Bitcoin. The IMF, BIS, they're all going to get together and get rid of this. Well, at 200 billion, they don't care. Tap me on the shoulder when it's at $10 trillion, we'll talk again. So there's plenty of upside to play for before it starts to become something we need to worry about. They probably will give it a go. They've tried to ban gold. Last thing I've checked, it's been working for about 6 millennia as a currency, so it didn't really work, did it? And in this world of a distributed ledger, which is owned by everybody and owned by nobody, there's almost no chance, unless you shut down the internet entirely, to get rid of Bitcoin. It's impossible. It's a cockroach in finance, something you can never kill. And you see, that is its power, and that's what makes it so incredible. That's what makes it such a great reserve asset, and this very hardness of it. So I think they may try, but in a globalized world of regulatory arbitrage, somebody else will adopt it, and somebody will allow you to use it. So keep peeled in this space. It really is going to be life-changing for many of us, and I think it is the chance for the little guy to make his fortune. As I've said, we're at a $200 billion market cap in Bitcoin right now. And as more people come into the space, the more the price goes up, the more the market cap goes up, the more it attracts people. It's going to create a Soros-style reflexive loop of which we've never seen before. That's my view here. Because I know what's coming. They've just allowed custody of Bitcoin. That means it's code word for prime broking for hedge funds. So that's coming. So Paul Tudor Jones was right. Michael Saylor and Square putting it into their treasury. That means more treasurers are coming over time. Slowly but surely, these were the first steps. I don't think there's going to be a giant rush, but I'd be bloody surprised in 5 years' time if Apple, Microsoft and others don't have cash in Bitcoin. Then we've got the coming ETF. It is coming, it will come. We know because we can see the regulators slowly but surely approving everything. And when it comes, when they've cleaned up the kind of bad actors, given all the fines out, got everybody regulated, it's coming. That will bring in the RIA space, the registered investment advisors and the financial advisors. And those guys are going to start piling in for their clients, seeing the portfolio value of this. I think that's incredibly positive. Then, we've already seen the family offices in the space. People like Fidelity with their custody. Now the rise of these banks, like Avanti and Kraken's new bank. This makes it easier for people to custody, to get access to this system. It's a really positive step. The family offices are coming. They're usually early adopters because they want to protect wealth and they want to make money. The endowments, they have a long time horizon. They can take the risk. They're in this space already and they're coming more and more. And then the pension system. It offers many answers for the pension system. It also offers huge answers to the millennial population, the people who can't really save in their 401k and keep buying Tesla at all-time record high valuations and all the nonsense that's going on. Crypto, when it starts moving, is going to suck them all in, and rightly so. It has the best lopsided risk-reward of any asset class I've ever seen. So I think there's huge opportunities, and then we'll see people like, Arca have got their incredible digital asset fund where long-short tokens. This is a new world. There's huge amounts of alpha to come out of these new markets. It's going to be complicated markets, more complicated even than the derivative markets we know now. Because when you've got markets with multiple smart contracts trying to see value of one versus the other, that's a really complicated, exciting world where value investors, technology, high-frequency trading, everything can come together and try and figure this world out. But it will generate alpha. So it is an exciting world. It's an exciting world for many of us. But you need to take a step first before it's too late. Take a step, learn about Bitcoin, buy some gold.